In the world of comedy, Steve Martin stands apart, not just for his wit, but for his precision. A master of crafted humor, Martin treats comedy like fine engineering, where every word, pause, and gesture is intentional. This perfectionism has earned Martin a reputation for brilliance and a low tolerance for unprofessionalism. He doesn't call people out publicly, but those close to him say he remembers everything, and quietly distances himself from those who disrupt the process. Now, we take a look at 9 entertainers who reportedly earned a spot on Steve Martin's private blacklist, not for lack of talent, but for clashing with his disciplined approach to comedy. 1. Chevy Chase, a comedy genius with no soul. Tensions between Martin and Chevy Chase surfaced during Three Amigos, 1986. What should have been a comedic dream team became a clash of styles. Chase allegedly rewrote lines to favor himself, ignored direction, and treated crew with disrespect, behavior that clashed with Martin's deep respect for collaboration. While both men kept things civil in public, Martin never worked with Chase again. In rare private comments, he once described Chase as a comedy genius, with no soul behind it. 2. Jim Carrey, calculus in a blender. Steve Martin and Jim Carrey's clash wasn't personal. It was philosophical. Martin's structured, deliberate comedy collided with Carrey's chaotic, high-energy style. At a mid-90s awards show, Carrey's long-winded acceptance speech led Martin to appear on stage with a "wrap it up" sign, a joke Carrey allegedly took as an insult. Though Martin respected Carrey's talent, he found his energy overwhelming. While never openly critical, Martin quietly avoided future collaborations, another case where style outweighed substance. Steve Martin views comedy as a collaborative conversation, a give and take that requires listening, not just performing. Jim Carrey, in Martin's view, treated it like a one-man show. Jim would hijack every moment with no regard for rhythm or the other performers, said a producer familiar with both stars. Despite several opportunities to work together, Martin repeatedly declined. He reportedly described Carrey in private as an attention vampire, someone who drained the scene for himself. This wasn't personal animosity, insiders say, but a deep philosophical divide. Martin's comedy elevates the group. Carrey's dominated it. For Martin, that made collaboration impossible, no matter how talented the other performer was. 3. Bette Midler, the spotlight stealer. At a 1990s charity gala they co-hosted, Steve Martin's carefully planned program was disrupted by Bette Midler's unplanned musical number. Martin, who values precision and respect, was upset by her lack of communication and reportedly left early, leaving a donation with a note. Tell Bette it came from her biggest fan. Though polite afterward, Martin never worked with her again, seeing her act as narcissism overshadowing the event's purpose. 4. Bill Murray, the unpredictable element. Tension between Steve Martin and Bill Murray began during a 1980s live TV appearance. Martin's meticulous preparation clashed with Murray's late arrival and off-script antics, which Martin saw as sabotage. They reportedly didn't speak for nearly a decade. While Martin values structure and trust in comedy, Murray thrives on chaos, making collaboration impossible despite their legendary status. A classic what if in comedy history. 5. Robin Williams, the improvisational whirlwind. Steve Martin and Robin Williams, both comedy legends, clashed due to their differing styles. During a 1990s TV appearance, Martin's precise scripted approach conflicted with Williams' wild improvisation. Martin described it as reading poetry on a roller coaster. Though he deeply admired Williams, Martin found the chaos exhausting and declined future collaborations, seeing unstructured spontaneity as creative sabotage, even if brilliant. 6. Goldie Hawn, the schedule disruptor. Steve Martin and Goldie Hawn seemed perfect for House Sitter, 1992, but behind the scenes, their work styles clashed. Hawn's chronic lateness disrupted filming, frustrating the famously punctual Martin, who saw being on time as a basic respect for others. Hawn's frequent line improvisations also threw off Martin's carefully timed rhythm, forcing him to constantly adjust. Most hurtful was when she reportedly mocked Martin's banjo playing, a deeply personal passion. Though professional on set, they never worked together again. Martin reportedly saw Hawn as a passive-aggressive performer using charm to mask dismissiveness and ego. This experience reinforced Martin's commitment to collaborating only with those who share his values of respect, preparation, and teamwork. House Sitter shows how strong on-screen chemistry can hide serious behind-the-scenes clashes. 7. Charles Grodin, the deadpan disaster. Steve Martin's tension with Charles Grodin wasn't personal, but stemmed from Grodin's confrontational style on The Tonight Show, which made host Johnny Carson uncomfortable. Martin found it painful to watch Grodin use Carson as an unwitting straight man, creating real tension disguised as comedy. He believed comedy should be either fictional or consensual, calling Grodin's style weaponized awkwardness. Though they never worked closely, this incident reinforced Martin's commitment to respectful, collaborative comedy. 8. Don Rickles, the roast that went too far. Steve Martin reportedly clashed with Don Rickles after a 1980s roast where Rickles' harsh jokes about Martin's recent divorce and finances crossed a line. While Martin is known for good humor and taking jokes well, this felt different, too personal and painful. Martin believed comedy should have boundaries. He never publicly criticized Rickles but avoided future events that would pair them. What upset Steve wasn't being the target, but that Rickles chose the most painful topics instead of the lighthearted jabs that make roasts work. Martin's experience with Rickles reinforced his belief that comedy should come from empathy, punching up rather than exploiting real vulnerability. He respected Rickles' legacy but disagreed with humor that causes genuine pain, seeing it as a misuse of comedy's power. 9. Burt Reynolds, the prank war escalator. Tension between Steve Martin and Burt Reynolds stemmed from Reynolds' chaotic pranks during Tonight Show appearances, which disrupted Martin's carefully timed performances. The clash peaked when Reynolds' antics forced Martin to abandon his material. Frustrated, Martin called Reynolds a 12-year-old with a death wish and asked not to be booked with him again. This conflict reflects their contrasting styles, Martin's precise comedy versus Reynolds' unpredictable physical humor. Martin saw Burt as careless, not evil, whose need for attention could undermine carefully crafted performances. If you love Hollywood gossip, celebrity news, and all things star-studded, make sure to hit that subscribe button and turn on the notifications so you never miss an update. Also, drop a comment below